Back to today's retirees with certified financial planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Today we are going to be talking about things that will impede your retirement. Now Wayne has kept me in the dark. Usually he sends me a little list of things he would like to discuss, and he told me, too bad, buddy. No, he didn't really say that.
You're going to have to wing it.
But he did say that there are things that we're going to talk about that will impede our retirement. Now, the first thing that comes to my mind is we just didn't plan well.
Well, yeah. I mean, lack of planning is, as a certified financial planner, that's what I help people do.
Right.
But there's planning well, and then there's planning with balance. And the things that could impede your retirement, I don't think are necessarily bad things. And I think it's important to not be afraid to spend money on some things, and it's important to know when you shouldn't spend money on it. So let's talk about boats. You know I have a passion for boats.
Sure.
I'm on the boat weekly, every weekend in Florida we try and boat. I love boating. And I just spent the weekend at Kelly's Island on our boat. Mm-hmm. And it was packed. All the marinas were sold out. You couldn't get a dock, so you had a reservation, as far as overnight. Mm-hmm. Hundreds and thousands of boats. Wow. And, they had a Trump parade came by, with the Trump flags in boats, or a couple hundred boats. And a lot of these boats were big, beautiful cruisers. Okay. And the marina was filled with beautiful boats. Now, boats cost money. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they cost money to buy. They say the cheapest thing about owning a boat is buying the boat. Oh. All the maintenance and storage and dockage and repairs, sure. That's what gets you. So I want to give you an idea. If you buy a $50,000 boat, and this doesn't have to be boats. This can be any type of toy, a camper, collector car,
sure.
Motorcycle, Harley, whatever the case. A lot of folks have hobbies and things they like to do, race cars. If you buy a $50,000 toy, say a $50,000 boat, which isn't a lot of money for a boat, but 50 grand, and you pay for summer dockage, winter storage, and just say some fuel throughout the year, $5 grand per year. So you put 50 grand in a boat, and then you're going to maintain it. It's going to cost you $5 grand a year, roughly. So when you run the numbers on that, over a 20-year period, if you wouldn't have bought the boat, if you'd have put the $50,000 in an investment and then added $5,000 to it every year, at 6%, you'd have about $350,000 in 20 years.
Okay.
In 30 years, you'd have about $680,000.
All right.
Okay. How's that for a retirement fund?
That's pretty nice.
Okay, that's only at 6%, and that's only spending $50,000, and it's only spending $5,000 a year on the maintenance of it. If you bought a $100,000 boat, and then you put $5,000 a year towards storage in that, you'd have about $500,000 in 20 years, and in 30 years, take a guess.
$1.1 million?
About 980.
Okay.
960, 970.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that $50,000 or $100,000 boat is costing you several $100,000 over 20 years.
Well, if you would have spent that money in an investment,
sure,
right, and not elsewhere,
right,
if you'd have put it in investment and not touched it for 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can compare that to any other type of enjoyment, even a vacation, right? I mean, if you spend $5,000 a year on a vacation, you're talking you'd have $100,000 of dollars in 20 years. So what is it worth the trade-off? So in my opinion, no. I mean, you need to enjoy your life. You work hard, you plan, you can do both. You can own a toy and you can save for retirement. But you don't want to forego saving for retirement, for the sake of owning the toy. You have to find balance.
Sure.
Some people have enough money, they can do both easy. And by the way, $100 grand, any type of new boat, if you're talking, let's just say a 30-foot new boat, you're talking, $250,000.
Oh, wow.
$200,000, $250,000.
Okay.
And a 40-foot new boat, you're talking $500,000, $600,000. So just think of what you have. So when you just do the math and you compare a toy to investing in the market and then systematically, annually, by the way, a dock at Cedar Point, is $3,000 for a small dock.
Wow, okay,
Storage somewhere at least $2,000.
okay.
So $5,000 is really an understatement. I mean, that's
Right. Plus there's maintenance
conservative.
on the boat as
Oh,
well.
there's repairs, they break down.
Sure.
You got insurance, you have license plates and, fuel, of course. Fuel's not too bad right now, but marine fuel typically is more money. So all that, is that going to impede, one's retirement? You also don't want to get to be 50, or I shouldn't say 50, but 60, 65, and I wish I would have got that boat when I was younger, and for my family and my kids, so they could enjoy it, and we could do our summers and go to the beach, and be that guy that has the regrets that they never did that, or never took those vacations and spent time with the family because they didn't think they could afford it or whatever. So, a boat is an investment. Collecting race cars or building motors, motorcycles, anything like that, a camper. It's not an investment. It costs you money, but it does bring value to your family and brings memories to the family.
Sure.
So, in my opinion, well worth spending it, but not if it's going to mess up your retirement.
Right.
Somehow.
You got to find that balance.
You got to find the balance.
Right.
It's very important.
And I guess, where my brain goes, and, every family is different, and that's why you help them figure these things out. I'm sure folks come and sit down right here at this desk and say, Wayne, we've been thinking about a new boat or a new camper or
and a lot of
X.
people could care less about boats, but they have a passion for camping, or,
Sure.
I have clients, I have more than one client that, builds or rebuilds antique tractors. I probably have 3 or 4, maybe more than that even.
Sure.
And they put a lot of money in. A lot of money goes in those things. They can sell them, and it's an asset. But again, when you compare what you could have put in the market or into an investment, a conservative investment, like I said, 6%. It's staggering the amount of money you would have had in retirement if it actually went into the investment. If it gets spent somewhere else, it doesn't matter.
Right. Exactly. But that's where the balance comes from.
Yeah.
You got to figure that out. And in my brain, what I've just heard, now, Wayne can correct me when we come back from the break. If you start early and you put those monies away, when you get to be my age, you can have both.
And I just did it, right. And I just did quick math. Take the purchasing out. Take the $50,000 out. Just $5,000. You're going to have a couple $100,000 in 20 years.
Sure.
So if you spend $5,000 a year eating out, for instance, or going, doing whatever on anything, that equates to a couple $100,000 20 years from now.
Wow. So there's we're going to talk about that when we come back. We're out of time for this segment. Hey, go to Wayne's website, todaysretirees.com, todaysretirees.com. On that website, you'll find these programs, links to them on his YouTube channel. You'll find all kinds of, sign up for a free newsletter. You can find information there about what he does, certified financial planning. Set up an appointment with the ladies, or go to the telephone, 866-626-3990. We'll be back right after this.